everybody, it's me, Margaret, and I have to laugh because last week I got several comments about the weather at my house. Birds were chirping, grass is green, and I know a lot of people aren't seeing that. But with anything in life, there's the goods and there's the bads, as Thomas often says. We live in an area of the country known as the Pine Belt, and in particular this part of Mississippi is very strong in pine trees. And can you see those yellow clumps right there? That's the beginning of pine cones, and it means it's pollen season. Terrible, terrible time of year, so much so that I can't sit outside without getting pollen all over my yarn. We have to close the garage, we have to take off the cushions. Look right here, this is where I normally sit with the cushions. We have to bring them in because the pollen is so bad. Look at the coffee table. That's about a week. It rained Friday and swooshed some of it back, but that's pollen. Isn't that nasty? And we breathe it and it's really bad. We have to put up with this for several weeks, and then we can put everything back out after we wash off the pollen. Look at the arm. We'll have to scrub all these down because it's so bad, and you have to be sure to close your garage or you'll be dusting out your whole garage too. So while the rest of the world can breathe freely outside, I'm going to have to stay inside today to talk to you about my cast-off video. Like I said in my opening screen, this is the viewer's suggestions episode, and the first one came from where is my note? Stephanie Hartsock. She sent me a message saying that I'd probably get to it with my scraps before she'd be able to get to it with hers, and she sent this link. And it's called, isn't it a funny little hat? It's called, what is it called? The Scrap Tweed Tassel Hat. Now, do you remember a while back I was doing 2 strands together? Which is nothing new. This is 2 strands together, but you hold one solid color all the way through, and then you do your scraps. You're tying your scraps into one long piece before you begin, leaving about 1 inch on each of the knotted ends, and then you put little tassels on them. And I don't know. It was fun. I thought it was a fun little hat. It's not exactly my style, so to speak, but somebody would get a kick out of it. I kind of like it too without the tassels. See if you can get an idea how the scraps work up with the different colors. That's really a good idea. As a matter of fact, I did a big person one too. And I do like the way the colors go together. Again, the tassels are probably not my style, but it's fun. Oh, I do wonder though, you see it kind of ended where some of them would end together, like right around the same spot. So it would have been neater maybe if you did smaller pieces and you could get more tassels, because sometimes you got to go big or go home to carry something off. And like this side right here just didn't even have any tassels. You know, none of that right there. So maybe I should do shorter pieces. I don't know. But it was fun, so thank you, Stephanie, for that suggestion. And the next pattern comes courtesy of Susan Ernst. And Susan, I couldn't reply to you on the comments below, so I hope you see this. But this link is a pattern that's actually a combination of 2 patterns. Well, maybe not exactly. It was a pattern called the Durango for this portion right here. And then this person on a blog, who, shame on me for not paying attention to her name, she put the border on the side, and it has this tab where you put a button. And obviously I haven't sewn my button on yet. But see, isn't that a cute little hat? Now I made it a little bit too big. I had difficulty with the Durango portion of the pattern. It was done differently. This is a front post, back post, which is very similar to what I did all last week, but this one was done in a different manner. And I had a little difficulty with what exactly they were wanting me to do, so I ended up just chunking my confusion and sticking with what I knew. And I just got confused when I needed to put this band on, so it got a little bit bigger than I had hoped. But I know what I did wrong and I could do it again. And, you know, think about it. There are people that need all sizes. And if you've got your hair in a bunch of braids, for example, even though you may not have a large size head, the hair will definitely cause your need for a larger hat. So lots of different sizes are needed. So I'm definitely going to finish this one up with the button, and then I'll probably go around and making another one. So thank you, Susan, for this little tip, because this was a great looking hat. I really like this one. And as always, look in the description box for the links to these patterns. Now this next one was not exactly suggested directly to me, but Emily, who is Crochet Forever One, had also been on a front post, back post double crochet kick, and she had done a hat called the Deeply Textured Hat. And I got the biggest kick out of that, so I asked her exactly where the link was because she didn't mention it in her video, and lo and behold, Zoe, who is 24 karat crochet, also had taken a liking to that hat. And I took both of their ideas and joined them in my own hat here. Now, this was the pattern that Emily did, and you can see it starts out with double crochet up here, and actually it's done a little bit differently than your regular method of increases for a hat, for a crocheted hat. But it worked out. You know, I don't see where you'd actually have to do it like that, to tell you the truth. But like the pattern says, but because it was the first time I did a hat, I did follow it. But you can see that basically what it is, nah, you can't really tell, but it's regular double crochet and then a front post double crochet. Regular front post, all on one row. And then you come around the second row and you do the opposite. Wherever there was a regular one, that's the one you front post. And wherever there was a front post, you put a regular on top, and you get this texture. Now, Zoe had used this kind of yarn. It wasn't exactly this colorway, but this is one of my favorites. It's Red Heart Unforgettable. And this color is called Echo. I'm not exactly sure why. But it does work up really nicely in crochet, which is not always the case for self-striping yarns. Oftentimes they work up a lot better with knitting. And in this case, the color changes are so slow and so gradual that it really worked out well. You can only see one little thing right here. I think that might be the seam. That's another great thing about this hat is it appears seamless when you do it, although it's really not. Yeah, that is the seam right there. So technically, I guess it should be located in the back of the head. It's really not that bad. It's just the color. But if you do it in a solid color, you'd probably not notice it very well. But I really, really love this yarn. I like working with it. It washes well. The color choices and all the colorways they offer, and it's not a whole lot, but I think they're all attractive. So this was a leftover skein. Oh, actually, I did use all leftovers today, so I'm back on my kick of using up my open skeins, or I have a hard time saying skein, and I know that's the proper pronunciation because I looked it up. But I'm back to using my open skeins, my partial skeins, my tidbits, my bits and bobs as I call it. So, yeah. As a matter of fact, this hat was great for those tiny little bitty bits that I had saved in those what I call mini skeins that I keep. So this method was really good for that. And again, I'm not so sure I wouldn't like it just as well or even better without the tassels. So that's something to keep in mind. Really like that one. Now, while I was out running errands the other day, I was in the neighborhood of Big Lots, and I actually hadn't been in a while, and when I had gone, there wasn't any yarn recently. So I thought, you know, I'm right here, I'm going to run in and see if they have any. And they did. And they're 50-gram balls for $1 of acrylic. And this is, it says acrylic, and it is acrylic. And it's a brand I haven't seen before from them. Kind of got a glare here. Yeah, 50-gram balls for $1. So I got a bunch of reds and some grays and some yellows and some blacks, just because they're basic colors. But you can't beat that. $1. That's fun. So thank you, YouTube yarn community, for the suggestions and just the ideas and inspiration I get from watching your different videos. I love being here.